Hello guys, glad to have you on board again today. We'll try to cover up this one in a few minutes as this is all I have ahead of me during the baby's nap. So anyway, now we are about to have the NFP in 10 minutes. That's the only catalyst we have today, and this is what will terminate the market's week. So it's pretty hard to forecast what's going to happen. This is a market catalyst, could very well push the markets upside or downside. We don't really know anything about what's about to come. Neither how the market will react. It's not because we have a bullish or better than expected number that will have a bullish outcome. It could very well go bearish. At least, let's say the market will choose however it wants to end the week. And it could be bullish, could be bearish. If it's bearish, next week's obviously going to be bearish. If it's bullish, we won't know what next week will be. A tough weekend ahead because we'll have dealings regarding the tariffs, I think, all around the weekend, and we'll see how the market is forecasting this to be. If the market hopes to have good outcomes during the weekend, they'll probably pay or remain bullish throughout the weekend. Those who think things could go nasty and get to bearish gap will probably take profits before the end of the session. So we'll see about that. I'm just going to cover up pretty quickly the Bitcoins and cryptocurrencies. From what you can see, we've got not a bit of a bearish resistance right here. We're working around that previous resistance. Yes, we're making upper shadow candles, but we're not managing to break down either. So it's basically waiting to get some bullish reactivation or bearish. So it's pretty much halfway through. We'll see how we can do it, but I think at some point we should have some bullish reactivation. If we get to the 2-hour chart time frame, what we have right here is a double bullish signal confirmed by a triangle and a bullish momentum which suggests the price should go to the upside. So we'll see how deep we can go. We still need to break up that resistance in here, which means we have to get there and break up the resistance. Once this will be done, if this is to be done, we should probably have bullish outcomes for quite some times, and probably not resistance until a tiny resistance in here and the final target number 1 in there. That's all I have for now. We'll have a cluster right here. It should suggest we might find some bullish support down there, as this is the bottom line of the Andrew pitchforks we've been building down here. So we've been touching the bottom part of it. So we'll see how the market reacts. If it's bullish, we get there. We're tracing up to the mid part of that channel and probably have a bullish outcome later on and working around that area, and then bam, bullish outcome to get to the upper boundaries. We'll see how it goes. I mean, right now it's too soon to tell. We'll see if that resistance is broken down, and we can confirm that channel by a real one, in which we can make a bottom in here, a second bottom down there, and we'll have to pick this as a resistance, this as a resistance. And as you can see, this will give us a timing to get to the next resistance. So remember, we'll get there, working around the mid-channel and getting to the higher boundaries. Okay, so let's see it that way. As long as we remain inside that channel, this is what I think is the most probable thing to happen. So it gives us clues about the timing. So don't expect earlier timing than this in the best case scenario, and then afterwards some kind of consolidation, and we'll see how this plays out. As long as we remain above that support, things are great. If so, for some reasons we were to break that down, that wouldn't necessarily be the end of the world. There's always a scenario in both sides, and if we do this, I think we will try to make a breakout. Sine wave probably will trigger a breakdown pattern in here, but don't overstress things. I think this will just be some kind of a range breakout. Yet there is still a possibility that this will be a bearish reactivation, which means if you have the bearish breakdown, this is where you get the target. So we'll have two options if this is what happens. Either the market will buy the target, and then we'll have an extended range in here, and eventually afterwards a bullish reactivation. Option number 2 is that we go there, we doesn't find bullish support, we keep on breaking downward, and I think at that point triggering the stop losses and reversing to bearish will be the only solution. We'll see how this plays out. For now, market is taking the bullish side as expected, and we'll see how far this can go. This is exactly the same for Ethereum, IOTA. There is still some room to go a little bit lower, not the end of the world kind of going lower, but probably just retracing back to previous support. And as you can see, if we go down there, we're just making an head and shoulder pattern, so that wouldn't necessarily be bad in the end. It's just getting to the same area, but in a different with a different scenario. Okay. So it doesn't necessarily have to trigger invalidation in that case. Now moving on with the SPX, I've been shorting the SPX as we had a 2-hour chart signal confirmation with a red triangle confirmed by a candle close. So everything is good right now regarding SPX. We already had the confirmation with that bearish candle who broke down the previous low. Yet we have the NFP down the road, which is dangerous because we have a squeezing momentum, so could very well reactivate to the upside. It's really a 50-50% scenario in here. Pretty hard to tell what the market will pick. Of course, if the market is getting there and making candle closes up there, I think I'll trigger a stop loss and just stop selling the US equities. If we're here, we're still in a wave 4 overlapping wave 1 territory, because as you can see, we couldn't manage to make a single candle close inside the wave 1 and wave 4 overlap. We're just having a perfect overlap in here. The market tried to break up, tried to break down in here, but we're still respecting the same level, which means in here we'll still have probabilities to have an extended wave 5. And this is what I forecast the price to do. If somehow the NFP is disappointing the market, I think I won't take my profit in that area. Only if I have an exit signal, but probably even if this is just a taking profit pattern, I'll keep on bearish. I'll keep on my bearish trades. Other thing, I've been reinforcing the FTSE as well. This one is pretty fucking weak. I've got double bearish signal, and this one was pretty weak. It was just confirmed by the oscillator, which is not necessarily a confirmation. So I've got bullish, not confirmed, non-confirmed bullish signal with a double bearish signal. I think the bears are going to take over and break down that support, and when they will, I think nasty things could be happening in the next few days. We can try and make wave 1, 2, 3, 4, which means we could have an extended wave 5 in here, and it could be a very nasty one because we're in some kind of a divergent wedge structure, which means this is where the target is, and this is pretty down below. We've already made a bearish engulfing pattern right now. We'll see how the candle closes today, but if the candle is closing down here, either the weekly candle, both the weekly candle and the daily candle will be bearish signals for next week, and I think in that case the FTSE will literally fall apart and probably gap there in Monday. So we'll see how this plays out. I wish you guys a good weekend. We'll see each other on Monday.